ABC News is highlighting all kinds of things about gun violence in their regular broadcasts. You're hearing it at the top of the hour. You're also going to hear a lot more about it with it now being 2 weeks after the school shooting in Uvalde, Texas. But it's not just there. I mean, you've got mass shootings that have happened even in the inner city of Chicago and large cities all across the country. What should be done about this? How do we get to a place where common ground can be found to understand what the problem is and what the solution should be, or is there a solution at all? 217-629-7970. That's the phone number here, live and local on WMAY. I want to hear from you at 217-629-7970. Again, you can also email bishoponair@gmail.com or find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Just search out Bishop on Air. I wanted to share with you a little bit of what Joe Manchin, a Democratic U.S. Senator, has to say about this issue. He was asked about it on CNN yesterday, and here's some of what Joe Manchin had to say when asked about what can be done here when it comes to gun violence.
We know we can do something that would have prevented this, raising the age, making sure that the age at least gives us a chance to work with that person, see and evaluate and have a little maturity to them. And the second thing is that we know that the red flag laws do work as long as there's due process.
So you think raising the age from 18 to 21 for all gun purchases?
Well, it's where it is, everything except for rifles and long guns right now, or if it's just for these high capacity weapons. Whatever they want to do, I'm open to doing something that makes sense.
Why do you think people even need an AR-15? Do people need one?
I mean, you have to ask the people that do. I never thought I had a need for that type of a high capacity automatic weapon. And I like to shoot. I like to go out and hunt. I like to go out sports shooting. I do all of that. But I've never felt I needed something of that.
So that's Joe Manchin, considered one of those moderate Democrats, talking about red flag laws, talking about increasing the age to purchase long rifles or high-capacity magazines to the age of 21. Are these things that would prohibit what we've seen recently? Or is there a one-size-fix that's even possible in all of this? 217-629-7970. Want to get your thoughts. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Morning, Greg. Hey. So when I turned 18, I was a senior in high school, and I don't think that me being in high school at all, or in still considered elementary school, maybe, or because our K through 12 was all connected. I don't think that's a bright idea at all. Me being able to buy a long rifle or an AR-15 as soon as I turned 18. I think that 21, you can smoke weed, you can drink beer, you can buy a gun, any redneck's dream, right? I mean,
but what about, at the age of 18, you could be drafted and sent off to God knows where if we get into a world war.
I can't disagree with that at all. But obviously this kid, we probably could figure easy, was not wanting to go to any type of military service at all.
Yeah.
I still think that because if I were to be drafted as soon as I turned 18, granted, the only time that really happened was they plucked kids from school was in World War II.
In Vietnam.
And Nam, but they came back and they still got some schooling to go with it, that
those who were able to come back. Sure. Yeah.
I
understand that, but there's also the issue of just that Second Amendment foundational right of the right to keep and bear arms, and who's to determine which arms you can keep to protect yourself. You're an adult when you're 18. You can sign contracts when you're 18. You can go into substantial student debt when you're 18. Why can't you protect yourself with the weapon that you choose to protect yourself with?
Well, the other thought there is then, okay, so back whenever the, Second Amendment was made, the Civil War was going on, and kids were 14 or 12 carrying, muskets.
Well, again, just not the Revolutionary War was going on at that time. But listen, I mean, there were cannons as well, and there were private mercenaries and a whole host of other, different types of armaments that people had in their private possession. Got more calls coming in. I appreciate it. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Good morning, Greg.
Go ahead.
I said, good morning, Greg.
Good morning.
Joe Manchin actually just called an AR-15 an automatic weapon.
I didn't catch that.
Which is completely, And here's the deal, Greg. I'm just trying to be as nice as possible. But not only just the callers that call in and voice their opinions, but even the professionals. When you talk out of your ass as a profession, your face usually matches the part.
Gotcha. All right. Sharing it up here. Good morning. You're on WMAY. Your thoughts on what to do to stem gun violence.
Okay, so let me get this straight. We're okay with teaching 3-year-olds the difference between men and women and how men should be women and women should be men in school and give them a sexual education. But an 18-year-old who has been driving a vehicle for 2 years and putting people's lives at risk for 2 years because you're driving a vehicle, they're not allowed to have a gun. I don't see the rationale or the sense in that. At what point, you're 18 years old, you're an adult.
You can sign contracts. You can
do
a whole host of
things. You can be emancipated at 15 or 16 years of age. Yeah. The point being, we got to get out of this mindset that guns kill people. Look what that guy used in Wisconsin. Did you see the AR-15 he used up there to kill all those people back around Christmas? Oh, wait, that was a SUV.
You really haven't heard much about that case as of late, and I think that's kind of staggering as well. Appreciate the call. Got one more I'm going to take before we take a break because I got a guest lined up next. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Yes. I have been a lifelong Republican, and I've thought about this real hard. I'm military. I had 8 years in the Army. I believe that we need to bring training back for you to own a firearm. So as far as turning the clocks to 21 for you to own a firearm, I'm okay with that as long as there's a clause that's in there that allows that if you're in the military at 18 and getting the training that you need, you can get your firearm at 18.
Yeah. Well, and listen, I think that Illinois does have a law. I believe so. If I'm wrong, I apologize. But I'm covering the State House closely. I believe Illinois does have the law set at 21 years old, you can buy a long rifle. But that's Illinois specifically. That's not, the federal policy. And I think that there were some considerations, though I don't have that law in front of me right now, there were some considerations in as far as there are some 18, 19, 20-year-olds that are in the military service. Those types of things are being discussed. But I think one thing that people are kind of overlooking here is the red flag law question that Joe Manchin just dropped in there in his response and talking about how he's open to red flag laws as long as there's proper due process. And I think that right there is the crux of the red flag laws, because you could have, and the concern is, you could have somebody who owns firearms, has never been charged with any crime in their life. They get into an unfortunate domestic situation with their marriage, and it falls apart. And then the spouse may make a claim that raise a red flag, and then all of a sudden that individual's being investigated by police, and their firearms are taken temporarily until there can be. You can see where this gets into a significant problem, and the large question of so-called red flag laws, and if there's potential for serious constitutional abuses. So that's an ongoing conversation that's not going to go anywhere anytime soon. I think we'll be stuck with that conversation for some time. All right, it is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News.